good morning. You're watching Rajya Sabha TV. This is the Breakfast News. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the latest headlines. Experts favour cut in income tax rates, stress on harmonising custom rate to boost economy. Suggestions during meeting with Prime Minister at Niti Aayog. India says strategic capability is not targeted against any particular country. Statement after China's statement following Agni 5 test firing. %50 reservation in all judicial services in Bihar. Cabinet gives nod. 35% quota reserved for women. Centre shocked at appointments of Suresh Kalmari and Abhay Chautala as life presidents of Indian Olympic Association, says it is unacceptable. And Shinzo Abe, Barack Obama pay Solomon visit to Pearl Harbor. Abe offers sincere and everlasting condolences. Obama says reconciliation carries more rewards than retribution. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held consultations with economists and experts at Niti Aayog over the upcoming budget in February and also the government's decision to demonetize high-value currency. Well, the experts suggested a reduction and simplifying corporate and income tax to make India a global destination for investment.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi discussed economy, job creation, agriculture and skill development and steps that could be taken in the upcoming budget in February during his interactive session with economists and experts at the Niti Aayog in Delhi. The theme of the meeting was economic policy and road ahead. The Prime Minister called for innovative approaches in areas like skill development and tourism to harness untapped potential.
Prime Minister, he talked a bit about demographic dividend, said that, to fully realize it, we need skill, scale and scope. All three have to be worked on to translate. He talked about tourism as being a very important sector. He said we need to invest more in tourism. And he talked about how India has this very vast inherited or traditional kind of wealth.
The meeting was attended by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, Minister of State for Planning Rao Inderjeet Singh and senior officers from the Union Government and Niti Aayog. During the session, the participants shared their views on various economic themes including agriculture, skill development and job creation, taxation and tariff-related matters, education, digital technology, housing, tourism and future steps for growth. Experts suggested to reduce and simplify corporate and income taxes to make India a global destination for investment.
On the direct taxation, both corporate and personal income tax, quite a bit of suggestion about simplifying, reducing exemptions, bringing down the tax rates, aligning the tax system to make India competitive with the international destinations.
While seeking expert suggestion for the upcoming budget, the Prime Minister said that the government has advanced the budget presentation schedule as a budget cycle has an effect on the real economy. The Prime Minister also discussed measures to deal with the problem of cash crunch after demonetization of high-value currency. With inputs from Ravindra Sharan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee addressed a joint media press conference against the Modi government over demonetization on Tuesday. However, the opposition unity seemed to suffer a blow with the parties like the Left, the JDU as well as the NCP skipping the meeting. However, both the leaders said that they had the support of all opposition parties over demonetization issue. Mamata Banerjee even said that they will soon prepare a common minimum program to fight against the Modi government.
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee shared the stage on Tuesday to present a joint front against the note ban decision of the government. Addressing a joint press conference after a meeting of some opposition parties, Rahul Gandhi said demonetization had made no impact on black money, but rather it was an attack on the financial independence of individuals and poor people.
A new market for the conversion of money has been set up. What it has resulted in is an attack on the financial independence of our country, an attack on the poor people of our country, the weak people of our country.
But the meeting also presented a picture of fractured unity among the opposition. After several major parties turned down the invite for the meeting, those who stayed away included the left parties. The Janata Dal United, led by Nitish Kumar, and the Nationalist Congress Party, led by Sharad Pawar. The Samajwadi Party and the Bahujan Samaj Party also declined the Congress's invitation. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said the decision had only caused hardships to the people.
ये अच्छा दिन का नाम पे पूरा गया हिंदुस्तान। इसका पीछा में क्या हिडन एजेंडा है? Demonetization and demonetization both are big corruption. It is a totally, I don't know what is the hidden agenda. That country will see it tomorrow. Tomorrow means आने वाला दिन में। लेकिन अच्छे दिन के नाम पे आप लोगों ने पूरा लूट लिया देश को। किसान को लूट लिया, गरीब को लूट लिया, मजदूर का लूट लिया, बेरोजगारी बढ़ा दिया। आज 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा आदमी आज बेरोजगार है। बैंकिंग सिस्टम कोलैप्स हो गया है, लोगों का भरोसा नहीं है। ये तो आप लोगों ने संभालने नहीं पाया, फिर कहते हैं और भी कड़ा कानून आएगा।
Answering questions from the media, Rahul Gandhi said the Prime Minister should come out with the real reason for demonetization, since he was solely responsible for the decision.
आपने पहले बोला कि लक्ष्य काले धन की लड़ाई थी। क्लियर हो गया है कि जो लॉजिक सरकार इस्तेमाल कर रही थी कि काला धन वापस नहीं आएगा, पूरा का पूरा काला धन, पूरा का पूरा पैसा वापस आ गया है, तो वो लॉजिक खत्म हो गई। उसके बाद प्रधानमंत्री गए, काउंटरफिट पे बात की, वो लॉजिक खत्म हो गई। आतंकवाद पे गए, वो लॉजिक खत्म हो गई। कैशलेस पे गए, वो लॉजिक खत्म हो गई। तो आपने इतनी बड़ी चोट इतने लोगों को मारी, इसका कारण क्या था? तो जिम्मेदार कौन है? जिम्मेदार प्रधानमंत्री।
In contrast to the JDU, an ally of the Congress in Bihar, another ally in the state, Lalu Yadav's RJD, attended the opposition presser in Delhi. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the BJP on Tuesday dismissed the Congress-led 8-party meet against the note recall as a flop show and wondered why was Rahul Gandhi getting worked up after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's warning that strict action would be taken against the corrupt. Well, the party asked the Congress Vice President to speak up on the 2G scam and the coal scam before levelling baseless allegations against the Prime Minister.
भ्रष्टाचार पर सख्त कार्रवाई से राहुल गांधी और उनके साथी परेशान हो गए और जैसा मैंने कहा कि वहां ऐसे दल बैठे रहे हैं जो आजाद भारत के सबसे बड़े स्कैमों के साथ उनकी पार्टी और उनकी पार्टी की सरकार का नाम जुड़ा रहा है। राहुल गांधी जवाब दें, 2G घोटाले पर क्या कहना है? मनमोहन सिंह ने कोयला घोटाले को क्यों आगे बढ़ाया? कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं की गई? जवाब दें। आदर्श घोटाले, कॉमनवेल्थ घोटाले पर कोर्ट की टिप्पणी के पहले कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं की गई? राहुल गांधी जवाब दें। अंतरिक्ष देवास के मामले में मेरी कुछ भूमिका रही है इन सबों पर भाजपा के प्रवक्ता और मुख्य प्रवक्ता के रूप में आरोप लगाने में, एक पर कार्रवाई नहीं की गई। और आज मैं कहता हूं, मैं जेपीसी का मेंबर था 2G घोटाले में, वहां पर कांग्रेस पार्टी के दबाव में जेपीसी की पूरी ईमानदार जांच को प्रभावित करने की कोशिश की गई।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed his first Parivartan rally in Uttarakhand ahead of the assembly elections on Tuesday, while Prime Minister Modi told his audience that the demonetization drive was nothing but a clean-up drive. He also inaugurated the Char Dham highway project that he described as a tribute to those who lost their lives during Uttarakhand flash floods.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday said demonetization had ended many problems afflicting the country, such as fake currency and terrorism. Addressing a Parivartan rally at the parade ground in Dehradun, he assured the crowds that soon India will see the end of corruption. Modi also blamed the opposition for criticizing the note ban scheme.
चौकीदार का काम दिया है, अब मैं चौकीदारी कर रहा हूं तो कुछ लोग परेशान हैं, उनको तकलीफ हो रही है, उनको लग रहा है ऐसा कैसा चौकीदार आ गया, चोरों के सरदारों पर ही पहले वार कर रहा है। भाइयों बहनों, देश को काले धन ने भी बर्बाद किया है, देश को काले मन ने भी बर्बाद कर दिया है.
The Prime Minister also inaugurated the 900-kilometer Char Dham highway project that will improve connectivity between the 4 pilgrimage centers, Kedarnath, Badrinath, Gangotri and Yamunotri. Addressing the rally, Modi asserted that the 12,000 crore rupees project will give employment to the workers in the area.
ये 4 धाम यात्रा के लिए उत्तम मार्ग, अच्छी व्यवस्था उत्तराखंड के लोगों को तो रोजी रोटी देगी, उत्तराखंड के विकास के लिए चारों दिशाओं में नए अवसर प्रदान करेगी, लेकिन ये शिलान्यास हर हिंदुस्तानी के मन को वो संतोष देने वाला अवसर है जिसके हृदय में कभी न कभी मां गंगा के तट पे आना है.
Modi also called the Char Dham project a tribute to those who lost their lives during Uttarakhand flash floods. Of the 12,000 crore rupees, projects worth 300 crore rupees have already been sanctioned and tendered. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news now. Well, the government is likely to bring an ordinance today before the cabinet to specify a date to end the legal character of the old currency notes. Now, news agency PTI is quoting sources as saying that the ordinance is being brought as it was found to be necessary to prevent future litigations against the government for junking 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. While seeking to prevent harassment, any ambiguity as well, the provisions would be added to ensure that certain category of people can still deposit the old notes in RBI branches between 31st of December and 31st of March next year. Well, the category may include people in armed forces, people who were abroad, as well as ordinary citizens who can explain that the money is part of their legitimate income and that they could not deposit it in banks due to some particular reasons. Well, the government is also mulling imposing penalty on people for possessing certain quantity of old notes after 30th of December, but there's still no confirmation on this. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister's Committee on Demonetization, headed by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister M. Chandrababu Naidu, will meet in the national capital today. So far, Naidu has consulted all the stakeholders. He also addressed some committee members on 8th of December through video conferencing. Well, the panel was set up by the Niti Aayog on 26th of November. While Naidu said was in fact made convener, Chief Ministers of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Sikkim and Puducherry were made the members of this committee. And Union Minister Venkaiah Naidu has said that there was no political interference involved in the sacking of Tamil Nadu Chief Secretary P. Ram Mohan Rao. Now, Naidu advised Rao to refrain from making irresponsible political statements and to have faith in the judicial system. Meanwhile, a newly appointed Chief Secretary Girija Vidyanathan met with Governor Vidyasagar Rao on Tuesday after Rao claimed that he continued to hold the post of the State Chief Secretary, saying no transfer order has been served on him. Now, adding that the search warrant was in the name of his son, who doesn't live with him, Rao alleged that his life was in danger and that his home had been searched at gunpoint. Well, the former Tamil Nadu Chief Secretary also denied links with the arrested sand mining baron and government contractor Sekhar Reddy. Now, Rao was, remember, removed from the post of Chief Secretary following an income tax survey on his properties and those of his close associates, including his son. Now, income tax officials claimed that they had found nearly 30 lakhs in cash and 5 kilograms of gold from the investigation.
I advise, he's known to me also. I advise him not to get into unnecessary political this thing and unnecessarily further complicate the issues. He is innocent, he says, and there is nothing found in his house. And law is there, he can take recourse to the law.
It is a constitutional assault on the office of the Chief Secretary. I was Chief Secretary, I am the Chief Secretary. This government has no guts to serve me the copy of the transfer order to me. They have no guts to serve me the copy of the transfer order. Still, I claim I am the Chief Secretary of Tamil Nadu, appointed by Purachi Talavi Amma.
And the Ajmer-Sialdah Express train has derailed in Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. Well, 15 coaches of the train have derailed, while initial reports say that over 50 people have been injured. The derailment took place near Rura railway station in Kanpur Dehat district.
"15 coaches of this train got derailed. The coaches which got derailed were 6 from the engine and up to 20th Biswa, 20th from the engine. The preliminary information indicates that there are no casualties in this unfortunate accident. There could be some minor injuries. Our ambulances have reached. Local administration has been geared up. Our medical train has reached from Kanpur. This place of accident is between Rura and Metha.
And for more on this, let's go across to Mr. Prabhat Awasthi, who's a local journalist. He's joining us on the phone line. प्रभात जी, बहुत-बहुत शुक्रिया आपका हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। आपसे जानना चाहेंगे कि 50 लोगों के इंजर्ड होने की खबर है। आप और क्या ताज़ा जानकारी दे सकते हैं?
अगर मौके की बात करें तो जो हादसा है वो काफी दर्दनाक है, क्योंकि बड़ा हादसा है, क्योंकि 15 जो बोगियां हैं वो पूरी तरह से रेलवे ट्रैक से उतर गई हैं। फिलहाल जो कैजुअलिटी की बात है तो जो प्रशासन है वो पुष्टि कर रहा है कि अभी किसी तरह की भी कोई कैजुअलिटी की सूचना नहीं है। कुछ लोग घायल जरूर हुए हैं जिनको इलाज के लिए तुरंत जिला अस्पताल में भेजा गया है, और तो वहीं जितने गंभीर रूप से घायल हैं उनको कानपुर रेफर किया गया। जो मामूली रूप से घायल थे उनको तुरंत इलाज के बाद बाई रोड बसें लगा दी गई हैं, उनको जिस जगह पर जाना है उस जगह पर भेज दिया गया। फिलहाल अगर पूरी घटनाक्रम की बात करें तो अभी किसी कारण का पता नहीं चल पाया है कि किस वजह से ये हादसा हुआ है, और अभी रेलवे की टीम आएगी, उसके बाद ही साफ हो पाएगा कि किस तरह से ये हादसा हुआ, पूरी घटना किस वजह से हुई। जी
अवस्थी जी, आपसे ये भी जानना चाहेंगे कि रिलीफ और अगर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन की हम बात करें तो वहाँ किस तरह का रिलीफ और रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल रहा है? हमें ये भी खबर मिली है कि सेंटर से भी कुछ रेस्क्यू टीमें वहाँ पे पहुंची हैं मौका वारदात पर।
जी बिल्कुल, रेस्क्यू की बात करें तो सुबह तकरीबन 6:45 बजे की पूरी घटना है। तो जैसे ही लोग प्रशासन को मालूम चला तो जिला प्रशासन सबसे पहले मुस्तैद हुआ, उसके बाद मौके पहुंचा और लोगों को बचाने का कार्य किया। वहीं अगर बात किया तो जितने भी नए रंग रूट हैं जो ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं पुलिस लाइन में, सारे जो सिपाही हैं सबको यहाँ पे लगाया गया है। लगातार सुरक्षा घेरा बना लिया गया है, लोगों को सुरक्षित निकालने का काम जारी है।
जी अवस्थी जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। सो विल कीप कमिंग going back to him for more details on that particular story. So let me just recall whatever the reporter has told us. So this is a horrific train accident. As many as 15 coaches of the Sialdah Ajmer Express have derailed near Kanpur, while the incident has also affected the movement of trains on the route, and rescue and relief operations are being carried out by the district administration, and more rescue teams have also been sent. At the moment there are no casualties, and there is no report of what is really the cause of the derailment. That's not known at the moment. Of course, this is one story that we'll keep tracking through the day. But time for a very short break. We'll be back with more news.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. Now, India has stated that its strategic capabilities are not targeted against any particular country. Now, the statement came in the response to Chinese reaction to the test firing of Agni-5 missile, where the Ministry of External Affairs has said that India abides by all applicable international obligations and expects others to do the same. Now, the Chinese Foreign Ministry in a statement had said that it hoped that India's test firing of the nuclear-capable Agni-5 intercontinental ballistic missile that could cover all of China complied with the United Nations Security Council rules and safeguarded South Asia's strategic balance. Well, India successfully, remember, test-fired Agni-5, the country's most lethal nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missile, with a range of over 5,000 kilometers that covers entire China. Now, this may also pave the way for the user trial of the weapon system and its eventual introduction into the Strategic Forces Command. News from Bihar now. Well, the state government there has given its nod for implementing 50% reservation in both a subordinate and superior judicial services in the state. Now, this means that 50% quota would be implemented in the appointment of both services conducted by the Bihar Public Service Commission to fill the posts of judicial magistrates, and appointments conducted by the Patna High Court to fill the posts of additional district and sessions judges. Now, at present, there are 27% reservation in appointment of subordinate judicial services, but with this decision, 50% posts would be filled through reservation in both services, with the 21% posts reserved for extremely backward classes, 12% for backward classes, 16% for scheduled castes and 1% for scheduled tribes. Well, the cabinet also decided to implement a horizontal reservation in both the services, where 35% reservation would be given to women in each category. Besides, 1% post would be reserved for orthophysically differently abled persons. The state cabinet also enhanced the payment of ex gratia from the current 5 lakh rupees to 11 lakh rupees to the next of kin of Sashastra Seema Bal security personnel belonging to Bihar for their sacrifice on war front or warlike situation. And the government has cancelled the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act licenses of around 20,000 NGOs after it found them violating the rules prescribed for receiving funds from abroad. With this, only 13,000 NGOs in the country are now left with FCRA licenses. Now, the figures were placed before Home Minister Rajnath Singh during a review of the Foreigners Division of the Home Ministry. The formal scrutiny of the functioning of the registered NGOs reportedly began a year ago. Among the 13,000 NGOs having valid FCRA license, around 3,000 have submitted applications for renewal. 2,000 new applications were also received under the FCRA for the first time. Around 300 additional NGOs are currently under prior permission category but not registered under the FCRA. However, FCRA licenses of around 16 NGOs were renewed by the Home Ministry under the automatic route. Well, all the cases were reviewed thoroughly and 14 NGOs have been put under the prior permission category, while papers of 2 NGOs are under examination. Meanwhile, several NGOs whose FCRA licenses have been cancelled have moved courts against the decision. And now a look at the events lined up for the day in the day ahead. The Madras High Court will hear a plea seeking investigation into the death of late Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha. The petition was filed by an AIADMK cadre seeking a 3-member bench to investigate the death. Jayalalitha breathed her last at Apollo Hospitals on 5th of December after she was admitted on 22nd of September following fever and dehydration. A 9-member central team will start its 3-day tour of Chennai, Tiruvallur and Kanchipuram to assess the damage caused by the cyclone Varda. Now, Chief Minister O. Paneerselvam had on 19th of December met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the national capital and had submitted a memorandum pegging the estimated funds requirement for construction and restoration works at 22,573.26 crore rupees in the aftermath of the cyclone that hit the state on 12th of December. He also sought an immediate assistance of 1,000 crore rupees. The Aam Aadmi Party will announce its candidate today to contest against Punjab Chief Minister Prakash Singh Badal from Lambi in the upcoming Punjab elections. The party has so far announced candidates for 99 seats out of the total 117. It has tied up with the Vance brothers-led Lok Insaf Party, and according to the seat-sharing agreement, Lok Insaf Party will contest in 5 constituencies. And on to international news now. Well, in a historic visit, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and US President Barack Obama laid wreaths for the victims of Pearl Harbor at the USS Arizona Memorial built over the remains of the sunken battleship USS Arizona. Well, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe offered condolences to the people who were killed in the Japanese attack on 7th of December 1941. Well, Abe's trip comes 75 years after Japan mounted a surprise attack on the naval base that thrust the United States into the Second World War. Well, it follows Obama's journey to the city of Hiroshima last May, the site where the US had dropped the world's first atom bomb at the end of the same war.
勇者たちの命に戦争の犠牲となった数知れぬ婿の民の魂に永劫の
A historic gesture. It speaks to the power of reconciliation and the alliance between the American and Japanese peoples. A reminder that even the deepest wounds of war can give way to friendship and lasting peace.
Let's get you some more news from across the world in World Wrap. At least 28 Houthi insurgents and 12 Yemeni soldiers were killed on Tuesday in Yemen's southern province of Shabwa. According to military officials, fighting intensified when the government forces attacked the restive Behan district controlled by Iran-backed rebels. 14 insurgents have also been captured in the attack. Well, according to the United Nations, the Yemen conflict has killed over 7,000 people since the Saudi-led intervention in March 2015. Former Argentine President Cristina Fernandez was indicted in a corruption case involving public works by a court in Buenos Aires. Well, Fernandez was accused of illegally taking a public fund meant for public works between May 2003 and December 2015. Well, this is the second time the former president has been charged with corruption. In May this year, Fernandez was indicted on charges of manipulating a currency exchange, causing economic damage to the government. Actor Carrie Fisher, who rose to fame as the Princess Leia in the Star Wars films, has died. The 60-year-old Fisher passed away on Tuesday after suffering from a cardiac arrest on Sunday in a flight from London to Los Angeles. On to some sports news now. Well, Sports Minister Vijay Goyal on Tuesday lashed out at the Indian Olympic Association for making Suresh Kalmari and Abhay Singh Chautala as live presidents of the sports body. Well, Goyal said that it was totally unacceptable as both of them were facing serious criminal and corruption charges. Well, Kalmari and Chautala were made live presidents by the IOA at its annual general meeting in Chennai. The sports minister said that he was shocked at the resolution passed by the IOA. He said IOA was suspended by the International Olympic Committee when Chautala and Lalit Bhanot were elected office bearers, and the suspension was lifted only when the two were removed from the management. Now, Kalmari served as IOA president from 1996 to 2011 and was jailed for 10 months for his involvement in the 2010 Delhi Commonwealth Games corruption scandal, but he was later released on bail.
This is totally unacceptable to us, as both are facing serious corruption and criminal charges against them.
Let's get you some more sporting action in Sports Beat. The Indian women's football team started a SAFF championship campaign in style as they were thrashed. In fact, they thrashed Afghanistan by 5-1 margin in the Group B opener on Tuesday. Now, Kamla Devi opened the floodgates in the third minute, even before the spectators could settle down. Well, at the stroke of the half-hour mark, Sasmita Malik converted a penalty to double the lead from the spot. Well, India then netted the third goal 3 minutes later from a brilliant piece of individual skill from Kamla Devi. Gujarat batsman Samit Gohel on Tuesday created a world record by becoming the highest unbeaten scorer as an opener in a first-class match. Now, Gohel scored 359 not out against Odisha in the Ranji Trophy quarter-final match, bettering the 117-year-old record set by Suresh Bobby Abel of 357 not out against Somerset at the Oval in 1899. In Hyderabad will host the opening ceremony of the Premier Badminton League Season 2 starting from January 1st next year, while the final is scheduled to take place on 14th of January in Delhi. The event features 6 teams vying for a prize purse of 6 crore rupees and will see Hyderabad Hunters and Chennai Smashers kick off the season. That's all in this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching.